Give me that funk. Give me that funk. Talk of the town. Good morning.
You know what it is, the fam in the morning, every morning, 6 to 10 a.m. right here on 93.9 WKYS worldwide at KYSDC.com and on our free app. My name is Quicksilver.
I'm Danny Starr.
And to my right, across from Danny Starr, this brother, the coolest brother on TV.
Oh.
He got a little bit of swag, a little bit of charisma. Mr. Roland Martin.
Oh, and a little swag. No, it's all good.
You got a lot of swag? Okay.
good.
I ain't want to gas him up too much. He said, quick, when I come on, make sure you say I'm cool, I have swag.
They know.
No sport. No,
They know.
Roland Martin,
know.
welcome to the fam, sir.
I appreciate it. How we doing?
Amazing. How about yourself?
Good.
All good. What are you drinking? What is organic? What is that?
This is organic kombucha.
What the hell is that?
It's
Good
healthy.
question.
Like, what's wrong with water? What's wrong with cranberry juice?
Look,
Why?
I'm
why-
drinking both of that. Listen, you don't even want to know the situation right
Well, what the hell is it?
This is the good thing about the podcast. We can
Cosmic
just talk.
cranberry? What the hell is cosmic cranberry?
It's enlightened for everyone everywhere.
No, you know what that means? That just
What?
means an extra $3. That's all that
Extra
means.
20.
No,
That's $20.
It's very healthy.
What's
It's-
$20?
That.
The
It's
case?
raw
No,
and it's-
$19.99 a bottle.
For that bottle?
No, it's not. It's like
What the hell does it do
it's
for
like
you?
$4.50. It's like
$4.50 for
$4.50.
what? What does it do?
It's healthy and it's very little
No,
calories.
it's not. Give me
Roland.
the,
Like,
okay, first of all,
it
let me
is.
go ahead and break this thing.
Break it down for
Okay,
so it
let's
can
see here.
consistently be broken.
I
Okay,
promise
30
you
calories.
it's
We
actually
got
healthy.
10 milligrams of sodium,
It's
8 grams of
tea.
carbohydrate, 8 grams of sugar. But okay, you're saying it's healthy. How?
Because it's me not drinking Starbucks every day and paying the money that I pay for Starbucks, which has a lot of other additives.
What the hell's wrong with water? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What's wrong with water?
I drink water, but I also
But what's
wake
wrong
up
with water?
at 4 in the morning,
Hold
so
on.
I need a
And
little kick.
It's not regular water. It has to be Voss.
No, it
Right. I mean,
False.
which is an absolute
Fake
waste.
news.
All you're doing is paying for the bottle.
No, I like it.
Fake news. Wasn't it Donald Trump?
But what is that? I mean, really?
I mean, I feel as though this is not what this interview is about. I feel as though
No,
you're gonna
you
let
want-
me
you
live my
want to-
life.
I'm not
You'll
letting
let
you
me live
know.
my life, and you're gonna let me drink my Synergy
I'm gonna let them
organic
finish
kombucha.
first, y'all.
I'm just saying it's $4.50. How many of those you drink a day?
I only drink one.
You drink one a day.
Yes.
Got it.
One a day.
I
times
would
5.
be spending $5.56 if I got my chai tea latte with soy milk from
But
Starbucks.
what the hell is that?
That is-
Chai
Tea
tea
latte
latte
with
with
soy
milk.
Hold
Listen,
the cream.
how about we don't worry about what I'm drinking?
What happened to black coffee with cream? What
I
happened?
don't do coffee.
It's 2017. Everybody saw what the health, and now everybody's extra healthy, and everybody's woke, and we
I'm
have to
about
be
to go-
so
Yeah, they're woke
organic.
because they be drinking all that damn coffee all day.
I'm about to go vegan on them.
See?
Oh no!
I'm changing
Oh,
my
no.
life.
I'm not
Oh,
okay.
please,
Roland, I
please.
like to eat
First of all,
food.
I don't drink no damn coffee. I don't drink tea.
So you just drink water?
I just wake up.
Okay.
I don't need any of that stuff to wake up.
Well, excuse me, sir, but I do.
I don't
so.
know.
Right.
I get 4.5 hours of sleep. So we up.
And that's why he now has a show that's 2 hours long.
Yes.
News One with
Right. So
Work,
I ain't-
work,
I ain't-
work.
Come on.
I mean, I'm up, so I'm good.
So your show has been extended for those who might not know. You're on TV One, our
Yeah.
sister station.
Yes.
So when we did the radio, well, first of all, when we launched, it was a 3-hour block. So
Yes.
the first 2 hours on radio, then the third hour was radio and television.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So the plan always was to have at least go to 3 hours on
Gotcha.
television, and so we initially were at 9 a.m. and then of course. 2.5 years ago, we went to 7 a.m. Because there are more African Americans who watch the news at 7 a.m. than any other time.
That's our peak
It's
time
about
as well.
820, 900,000 people, and so and the audiences are different. So a 7 o'clock audience is totally different from a 9 o'clock
completely.
audience.
Absolutely.
So going 2 hours, I mean, gives us more time. It allows us to actually breathe more in terms of our subject matter. So I mean, no impact on me. I mean, look, I've done 3-hour radio show for years. So 2 hours, 3 hours, all the same to me.
That's the good thing about it. I've been on your show before, and I watch your show, of course. And I love that you touch not just on topics that are in the neighborhood, but you also talk on politics. You talk sports. You talk entertainment. It's really an entertaining show.
Well, the thing is, black folks, we're more than just one thing. And also, I mean, I would be bored to death only talking about politics.
Right.
I mean, that would put me to sleep. And folks who follow me on social media knows that's not just who I am. And so, I want to give our folks a cross section. So whether you're talking about entertainment, sports, culture, we had there's a black streaming service, Quayle TV. We had them on the show.
Yes.
Talking about that. And so somebody's watching it who might say, "Oh, I ain't never heard of a black streaming service. I've heard of Netflix. I've heard of YouTube,
Right.
Hulu. I've heard of Amazon Prime." oh, I never heard of this. And then same thing, September Sickle Cell Awareness Month. And so having a doctor on talking about that and research going to sickle cell. And then, of course, when we one of the reasons we also have, I have people hit me and they say, well, why do you have this Wild Out Wednesday, these comedians on Wednesday, and then this What the Hell segment on Thursday?
And I like What the Hell segment.
Well, the reason we did that is because same thing is, so you begin to think about folks who you have on. What spaces do you create for folks who are not in your traditional category? So those folks are not in a news category.
Gotcha.
They're not in a political category. So you take you create something that was lighter. So to have comedians, and so I mean, we literally have had comedians hit us up and say, "Yo, we heard about your segment. I'll fly myself in to be on."
Right.
And
That's
then
amazing.
with What the Hell, it allows folks who are bloggers, who are radio personalities, who are in different spaces, who couldn't fit, in terms of on our news panel.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a whole different ball game. But then having that, and so and from an audience standpoint, you're just getting a variety of stuff, and
Which is important.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's just. I mean, and so you're showcasing far more Black America than folks might expect. So all of a sudden you'll go from seeing this Black 3 or 4 star general, then all of a sudden you'll see somebody who's a comedian, then all of a sudden you'll see somebody who's a top civil rights lawyer, then all of a sudden you'll see somebody who has a technology company, and you're going, yo, I've never seen these people.
Right.
Right. If you're just tuning in there, we're talking, of course, to Roland Martin. And, of course, when you talk about Black America, when I look at what's happening with this correspondent from ESPN right now, the young lady.
Yeah.
Jemele Hill.
Jemele Hill.
Yeah.
Jemele Hill, such a, I don't even want to say crazy, but she used her Twitter, her own platform, to say how she felt about 45. I call him about the president.
Yeah.
Now, since then, ESPN has came out and made a statement saying that we don't condemn any of these statements that she's made, and she's now had to put out another tweet saying, hey, well, this is my personal platform.
Yeah.
These are my thoughts, not the thoughts of ESPN. But now there's talk about them potentially trying to reprimand her, suspend or fire her.
No,
behind the
that's
curtain.
not going to happen.
That's just some talk.
But here's a piece though that this is that we have to understand. There's no such thing as your personal page.
Right. Everything is public now.
There's no
Everybody
such thing.
sees it.
There is no such thing as that. I mean, the reality is, it doesn't matter if it's your personal page. The reality is, when you are a public figure,
Yes.
and you make a statement, it might get celebrated, it might get denigrated, it might get picked up, or it might get ignored. And so, and you never know, what is going to be that sort of that tipping point. The thing that happens though, in these cases, is that the conversation is never actually about the specific issues.
No.
What happens is one of the reasons why I rarely ever on television and radio call somebody a racist, and here's why. It's not that I don't think somebody is a racist, but the problem is if when you have this conversation, imagine if you just extend your arms. So one hand is racist, the other hand is not racist.
Gotcha.
So the conversation then becomes about, that's the conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, they're racist, they're not. Not what transpired, but they're racist or they're not.
It shifts the focus.
Right. And it always happens. And so that's one of the reasons why I don't do it, because I want the focus to be on exactly what the issues are. And see, so if you are a supporter of Trump, so now all of a sudden you can't wiggle out of that. Because I can sit here and say, why does Donald Trump have issues with black people? And somebody goes, oh, no, he doesn't. You go,
Yes,
well,
he does.
explain to me why Attorney General Jeff Sessions wanted to pull out of the Baltimore consent decree. Why did he want to pull out of the Chicago consent decree? Why is it that they're trying to attack affirmative action?
Exactly.
To see if they discriminate against white students. Then let's talk about why in Trump's budget they're whacking all of the offices that deal with minority business
These
and
are all
employment.
facts.
Then all of a sudden you say, now let's talk about voter suppression and this fraudulent voter fraud commission he has. And see.
His belief
So
that
I can lay
Douglas
out
was still alive.
7 to 10 things, and all of a sudden it's like, now I need you to explain to me that.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't called him a name, I haven't tagged him in anything, but I need you to explain to me all of that. You see, you can't wiggle out of that.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, though, when you say racist, white supremacist, then it becomes, no, he's not a white supremacist. no, it's not racist. So you'll see a Pastor Paula White give her interview where she says, I know him. There's not a racist bone in his body. So now it becomes a debate about
is he racist
or not? When it's kind of like, no. What has he done?
Yeah.
And see, and that's the deal, and that's the piece that I think a lot of times we miss out on, and so we get caught up in this whole debate, and it's a shift. And so you always have to be mindful of the shift somebody is trying to make. When I was on ABC this week with George Stephanopoulos, we were talking about Sheriff Joe Arpaio, the pardon.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Chris Ruddy with Newsmax, a very good friend of Trump's. All of a sudden, he just throws out, what black wealth was in the 1960s and black employment compared to where it is now. And I go, no, Chris, I'm not chasing you down that rabbit hole. We're going to stay on topic. And one of the other panelists, she tried to respond to that. I said, no. We are not. Now, Stephanopoulos is the host. I said, no. We are not going to chase you down that rabbit hole.
Now, I'm on the
We're
show.
going to stay right here on this topic because that's what he wanted. He wanted to shift the conversation away from Trump pardoning Arpaio and Arpaio and his racial animosity and his of course racial profiling of Latinos to this whole issue of economics and black wealth. And I said, no. Nice try, but we ain't gonna do that.
Right.
So you always gotta understand that's the goal, to shift the conversation versus no, we're gonna stay right here.
So question for you, while we're talking about staying right here, with Jemele's tweets, do you think she should, if you were a network, if you were ESPN, the owner of ESPN, would you reprimand her for those tweets?
Well, okay, first of all, I understand when you say reprimand.
Or suspend or fire?
No, but here's the deal. What they've done is they talked to her. She says she violated social media policy. They released a statement. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Slap on the wrist.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's not a suspension. That's
No.
not firing and things along those lines. And so none of that's going to happen.
Gotcha.
Because also you got to understand where ESPN is. It's now it's turned into a whole First Amendment deal or whatever.
Right.
And the reality is, when the White House addresses it, they now have actually taken something that a lot of people probably never even heard of, and now it's an even larger story.
Yeah.
But we do, but we do have to understand, and this is the thing that I don't think a lot of people get, and that is, and it's not a criticism of her, but it's something that all of us have to understand. The reality is, we work for somebody else.
Yeah.
For me, I'm a contractor. So first of all, I get paid through my media company. So I actually work for me, but I have clients. So TV One is a client of mine in terms of how I'm paid. So yes, it's my company. But even if it's my company, there's going to be ramifications for what I do. So for instance, the guy in Detroit, Michigan, who took a picture of two African Americans sitting to the national anthem, and he calls them the N-word. All of a sudden, that Monday, his business shut down. The guy in Minnesota who gave some money to David Duke's political campaign, all of his employees quit. He had to close his whole bar down. Wow. Mm-hmm. So the point I'm making is, a lot of times we go, well, you should have the right to say that. Yes, you do have the right to say it, but the First Amendment right does not guarantee
that you're going to keep your job.
Right. And so again, this is not, and this is not specific to Jemele.
Right.
It's to anybody who is in a public platform. So when you've had folks who are teachers, there was a teacher in Florida who made some racist comments, who ran a charter school. She's no longer the principal of a charter school,
And she shouldn't be.
there you go. And so that's the thing I think a lot of times people forget. And here's the other thing, especially, and I really need people who are young to listen to this, because it is actually happening. So Politico had a story the other day. And Politico, they said that there are a number of people they have not hired because of what they said on social media.
Absolutely.
When we talk
So-
about this on the show
Absolutely.
probably daily.
So their deal is we're looking for people who are unbiased, objective reporters. So when they look at folks who they made personal political comments,
They know how you feel.
you know how you feel, and they say, we're not even going to interview you. Now, that's why I walk through people and say, look, if you got to be careful with your Twitter handle is Juicy Hot 69.
Right.
Do understand,
Or even your email
that
address.
colleges and universities
I only roll up at gmail.com.
and potential employers, they are looking at all of that. They're looking at things that you make. You might say, "Oh, I was just kidding," but the problem is nobody knows you.
Right.
And that's the world we now live in, where
Social media
where
era.
we are so. Whereas before, I could have a personal feeling, say it to a friend, and unless a friend repeated it
It was gone.
or recorded it,
Right.
no one knows.
Right.
But now
They do, and that's and that's just the thing that people I think have to understand. But in terms of in terms of where Jemele is, ESPN, they've taken the action. She's moved on. She's going to keep doing her thing.
Right.
But again, I want people not to get caught in the trap of debating racist, not racist, white supremacists, not white supremacists. Say, no. Look at the policies. Look at what he is doing and his impact on black people,
Right.
Latinos, and others.
This is why Roland Martin's on the show. I love this brother.
Yes.
This brother is deep.
Just
This
be
brother
woke as
he
hell
got a little
over
bit
here.
of swag. His swag is okay. No, I'm joking. Now, also, besides your TV show, of course, on TV One, you also have a website that you're launching, correct?
Yeah, I got lots of stuff.
I know you
So
got- you
I
got a
don't
lot of
like.
checks right- you're getting a lot of
I
checks
don't
right
like.
now, Roland Martin.
Yeah,
I
jack
don't
of
like.
all
Oh no,
trades.
I believe in multiple revenue streams.
As you
Let's just be
I
clear.
believe in multiple resumes.
I've always believed in that.
Yeah,
so
smart man.
So with TV One, Tom Joyner Morning Show, and then I launched my own digital website, allthat.tv. And again, it goes back to that there's more to me than just news. And so, in my family, my brother's executive chef, runs our family catering business. I have a sister who's an artist, and so she makes the feather pocket squares I wear. So she does art. She does murals and all kind of stuff like
Amazing.
that. My wife is an ordained minister, and so she does her weekly Bible study and her balanced living coaching. And so I said, you know what? I said, I want a place where I can actually put all of that, house all of it, but then also some of the other things that I do. So that's why I created allthat.tv.
Gotcha.
And actually, when I ran the Chicago Defender, I actually created a magazine, an insert called All That. And I always liked the name because I always looked at how I can play with it when it comes to the marketing, because of the branding. And then I said, let's go ahead and do this. And so created that. And then also about 3 weeks ago, launched my Roland Martin Unfiltered Podcast.
I saw that.
Because what happens is, so like perfect example. So we had the sister from Quality TV on. It was about a 5-6 minute segment. But if I want to talk to her for 20, 30 minutes,
Yeah, you
then I
can
got
take
the
it
opportunity
out.
to do
Yeah.
so.
Now you see why we're doing this.
So yeah, so I do that. So I've always done that.
Right.
And so I've always been able to do different things with it. Or sometimes if I just want to just expound on a topic for 20, 30 minutes or even an hour, I can do that. So that's why I created the website, allthat.tv, and then also the daily podcast.
Hey, I salute Roland Martin, and I really appreciate you because so many people who's been in the business as long as you, they don't know how to adapt with change. They don't realize how important podcasts are. They don't realize how important social media
Right.
is. They don't the importance of bringing young people, as you do, because you brought myself on your show to talk about issues, not just on the What the Hell segment, but talking about political issues from a young person's standpoint.
Well, it's because we gotta understand most people are afraid of change.
Yeah.
So they're like, I'm not trying to learn anything different.
This is how it's been. It's been like
Creatures
this
of
since
habit.
1960s, and this
Yeah.
is how it should be in
And so
2017.
And so for me, look, I went to a communications high school. So there were people there who they said, I only want to do radio. I only want to do TV. I only want to do newspaper. Which I said, no, I'm going to do all of them. In fact, I was hot because they would not let me take a photography class because they said I had too many communications credits elsewhere, and that ticked me off. And so then when I went to college, I couldn't afford to have my own camera. That was a requirement in the class. So one of the first things I did when I graduated was bought my own camera and actually taught myself how to shoot.
Smart, man.
And look, I knew to shoot video. So look, if you got an eye, you got an eye. And so all the way. So you're talking about going from 14. So you're talking about 1984 to present day. I've never sat still in terms of what was happening with technology. And I don't have this. So it amazes me when I run into millennials who somehow believe that because they were born in the age of technology, they know it. I'm like, no, you don't. And so we'll be sitting there, and they're trying to figure out, okay, how's this dude 48 working his phone better than me? I'm like, because you didn't read the damn manual.
Right.
Yeah.
Pay
Wanna hire
attention
some
to
from
the
millennials.
You
instructions.
didn't read the manual.
Put it in the book. They won't read
And I'm
it.
like, you just start playing with it. I'm like, no, I actually read the manual so I can figure out how can I maximize this.
Right.
And so same thing when I'm sitting here talking about live streaming and different devices. And so when I'm having these conversations going, whether my Replay XD or this new Revel camera, or what can you do with this 4K camera, or why do I carry in my bag 2 Canon XA25s where I can shoot on 2 SD cards and
Snap.
and I
Look
can
at
go.
all that
You
lingo.
talking JR
Okay.
language back there, right?
Right. So I mean, because so perfect example. I met somebody. It was a guy. I gave the commencement speech at Virginia State University. Virginia State. Yeah, it was interesting. So a dude came in with one of the DLSR cameras to do an interview, and I said, "Why y'all shooting DLSR camera?" And it was interesting because they would take, well, that's what, so DLSR cameras basically is really a still camera. So you got a Canon 5D right there. And so I've got a Canon 60D at home. And I also,
His camera's better than ours. He makes a little more money than us.
But here's the deal, though. So here's the piece. So one of the reasons why, so I'm about to get real technical here. So one of the reasons why people love those cameras is because it gives you that film look, okay, because it's shooting 30 frames per second. That's why they love those cameras. But here's the problem with those cameras. The problem is you got audio. So you got to add all kind of other components to the camera. And so here's the deal, though, but that's not mobile. So you got to carry all that with you. Second of all, you got to exchange your lenses on that camera. So if he wanted to take that camera right there and hit that Courtyard Marriott sign, all he's going to get is probably a good wide shot versus he's not going to be able to get just Marriott. And then second of all, that thing eats a battery life. And so you got to carry extra battery pack. So one of the reasons, so great look, but you got to add all that stuff to it. So I roll with a Canon XA25 because I got 2 LXRs. I can shoot also AVC HD and MP4, so I get the highest quality video. Plus, if I want to take that card, immediately upload to the internet, I can.
Yeah, I'm going to just stick with Snapchat.
Right, I was saying, if I want to actually make a video with my wife, I should use the other camera you're talking about. I'm joking, Roland. Don't answer that. Don't answer that.
But it's just, no, he just said make a video. He didn't say what kind of video.
I know what kind of video he's talking about.
She knows me well.
I'm just saying, he could have been making a video, you know, of them cooking. He could have made a video of them cooking in the kitchen.
Right, in the kitchen. On the
countertop. All right. But again, so I laid so again, I go through all of that, and so somebody will go, "Damn, how you know all that?" It's because I'm not just sort of staying in this one space. I am constantly evolving, trying to figure out also how can I be faster, efficient? How can I carry lighter stuff to be able to do what I do? And that's the thing that a lot of people they simply don't do. So same thing with live streaming in terms of how you're able to do it. And so you know, when I did my radio show, I used to have this is when Meerkat and Blab were here. I would have 5 devices live streaming my show, one for each one: YouTube, Periscope, Meerkat, Blab, Periscope, and then of course when Meerkat and Blab shut down because Facebook and Periscope killed them. Then my whole deal was like, yo, I said I need to figure out how I can have one source but streaming to all of them. And I was sitting here racking my brain. And then finally, as a black-owned company, it's called Switchboard Live. Allows you to do that. And I can actually stream up to 10 platforms at one time. So when I stream, I stream my Facebook page, Periscope page, YouTube page, my wife's page, and I can add 5 more all at the same time. So why am I laying all that out? Because there's somebody, what happens is they stop reading. Right. They stop learning. They stop looking for something different. They stop, I got the Flipboard app on my iPad and my phone. Out of all the channels that I have on there, and there's about 20 different sections. Right. The one I read first is technology.
Smart man.
Not politics, not news, technology. And so.
I'm sorry, did you just get a text message from Colin Kaepernick?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to talk about that.
Wow. How'd you see that?
I'm sorry. When the phone goes off, I'm a woman. I look.
And it says Kaepernick?
Yes, it absolutely says Kaepernick.
What is Kaepernick texting you about, Roland?
Yes, we would like to know what.
We were texting this morning about an interview as well as some of the work he's doing off the field.
Like, this guy's just downplaying. Like, oh, no, I'm just Cap. So give me a second, Cap. I'm actually on the fan right now.
I appreciate your camera talk, but I want to just zone in on this Colin Kaepernick thing real quick. Y'all just cool like that? You just hanging out?
Well, it was like a few weeks ago when I got the Social Justice Award from Hank Aaron and the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
We were
Hank Aaron, Atlanta Braves. Nothing big, quick.
So we were
Hank,
waiting to go on the field where they put each of the winners in a convertible and they drove us around the field.
You just waved your
So
hand,
we were
style.
all that stuff.
All of it.
Well, I was giving people high fives too.
Yeah, okay. Kissing babies.
we were waiting to go on the field, and his name came up in NFL, and Hank said, I'm a Ravens fan, but I'm not going to watch the Ravens. And so we were sitting there talking. I said, Hank, have you ever talked to Colin Kaepernick? He said, no, I haven't. I was like, okay. So later we were upstairs after we went upstairs after we won the field, and I called Colin 2 or 3 times, and I texted him, and he didn't respond. So I was like you always do, being a journalist. So I called his woman. She answered the phone. See, that's why you always got to know the person's woman or they man, because you can't reach them.
You can reach their person.
So she hit me back. She said, "Hey, he's on the conference call. She said, I'm gonna have him call you as soon as he gets done." So he calls me back, and I said, "Hold on 1 second." Passed Hank Aaron the phone, and Hank was like, "You serious?" Yeah. So your reaction? I said, "Yeah." And so Hank talked. That's the first time he talked to Colin Kaepernick. They had a good, and Colin was blown away by it. And so Colin said, "Be sure to give him my number," and I did. And then after that, that's when I did the interview with Hank Aaron about Colin Kaepernick.
Roland,
that
the
ESPN
negotiator,
and Fox and everybody picked up. So that thing went all around the country.
That's amazing.
Because when Hank Aaron came out and said, blasted the NFL owners for not signing Colin Kaepernick.
Question for you: at this point in Colin Kaepernick's career, will he ever play NFL football again? In your personal opinion?
I have hope that he will. I do believe the NFL owners are such buttholes, and they are so mean-spirited that they affirm we're going to make an example out of you.
They've made an example
even though
already.
You have other players who are
done
protesting.
way worse.
Murder.
They are
rapists.
No. I don't mean that. I'm talking about who's protesting. So Michael Bennett, Marshawn Lynch, and the brother with the Kansas City Chiefs and others. I think their deal is we're gonna definitely penalize you. We're gonna definitely penalize you. When you see Stephen A. Smith made this point, when you saw the dude who's the backup quarterback for the Colts, because their quarterback is still hurt. I mean, this dude was beyond awful, beyond awful. And Stephen A. said, "You cannot tell me that Scott Tolzien somehow is better than Colin Kaepernick."
Right.
But no, they are their deal. And so you saw the comments from Jeff Lurie, the Eagles owner, where he came out and he's, and it was very interesting. The column, he talked about how Jeff Lurie is a PhD in social justice and he knows these things. I'm like, whatever. But what was a trip is that, he said, well, his biggest thing is the protest wasn't respectful. And then he talked about how there has to be more to that. And so in the article, they intimate. They say, well, beyond just giving $1 million. That's literally how they described it. As if that's nothing.
Right.
I mean,
literally, the articles said, well, beyond just giving $1 million and beyond having a few, how to interact with the cop classes, he's done nothing.
What is it? Like, I don't understand the logic.
But here's the thing, though. The dude who said it, he ain't never talked to him. So how do you know he's done nothing?
Yeah, and how do you know his perspective?
And he writes.
Right.
Well, he hasn't given an interview since January. So what you would have done is you basically assume, well, we haven't heard from him. And so he's done nothing, when the reality is most people who do social justice work, it's stuff you never hear about.
Right. They're not posting on social media every single time.
But now you also have to understand where I will use this phrase, the power of whiteness. You follow me here? What you have to understand in sports, if you want to understand how white sports media is, I want you to turn to the NFL Network. And I want you, whenever they have those top running backs or top 10 biggest plays or whatever, look who they interview. When you look at the interview, it's typically interviewing a radio sports host, newspaper columnist. There are very few African Americans. Why am I saying this? It's because you largely have white sports writers who are defining popular culture in sports.
A sport that's 70% black.
As columnists. Now if you took a walk into press boxes at a professional sports game or college sports game, you will see very few of us. So understand the people who are framing Colin
Don't look like him.
don't look like him. And they have a view more in line with those owners. I've experienced it. I remember there was a guy he was a beat writer for the Dallas Mavericks. And we were at a Dallas Mavericks media day because that's the other piece. I see, I've covered sports and news. So we're sitting there, and he goes, Allen Iverson is a thug. Now remember, thug is a new N-word.
Completely.
And I go, really? You ever met him? Well, what do you mean? I said, no. I need
Have
to.
you ever
I
met
said,
him?
I
That's
need
a
to
simple question.
understand
Why you
how
have this
did you
perception?
arrive at Allen Iverson was a thug?
Because he has dreadlocks and tattoos.
And I said, that's
I'm
exactly,
sorry,
what, no,
cornrows.
that's exactly what I said.
Cornrows.
And he goes, well, I said, no. I need to understand. How did you arrive? I said, his hair and his tattoos. And so he goes, well, yeah. I said, really? So Cherokee Parks does not have a traditional hairstyle. Is he a thug? Well, no. I start jamming him. I said, no. See, here's the game. A white guy like you in Philadelphia began to write that, and y'all all picked up on that, and so now you have decided that Allen
That's just
Iverson
what
is
it
a
is.
thug.
Yep, that's the
And
facts.
I start drilling this dude. I said, so, no, you need to stop calling him a thug when he's not a thug, hasn't gotten into trouble. I start running the whole thing down. It's the same reason they call Colin Kaepernick a thug. Never been arrested, not DUI,
Nothing.
not domestic violence, not for having some weed, nothing. So when you immediately call him a thug,
What you really are trying to say
okay,
is,
what are you saying?
This nigga.
And that's the thing that I need people to understand. They have to understand why black media, black-owned media matters. Because who gets to do the framing?
Yeah.
Who gets to do the framing? So my questions are going to be totally different than the questions on CNN
Yeah.
or MSNBC or CBS, NBC, Fox, and go down the line. And it's because my prism, my viewpoint, the lens that I have is different. My background is different. Now, it doesn't mean that I might take a position that black folks will disagree with. So when we were discussing the state senator from Missouri who put on her Facebook page that she had hoped that Trump was assassinated. And when I said she should resign, black folks, how dare you? I said, no. I have a standard. If a white politician said that about Obama, I'm going hard. I said, same thing. I said, I don't have a black standard and a white standard. I said, I have a standard. But again, it's how you look at it. And we have to be very cognizant. And that's why I tell people all the time, be very careful when you're repeating something that you heard through mass media, because you got to think about, no, what's the prism through which I am hearing this? And a lot of us don't do that. And I busted a lot of people who, so-and-so is so-and-so. I'm going, really? So where'd you get that from? See, let me break it. That's why even our black websites, remember, there are black targeted websites, not black owned websites. And even if it's black owned, what kind of reporting they do. So a lot of our black websites are writing stories where they're actually not writing stories. They're rewriting a story that was published somewhere else.
Clickbait, we call it.
But what they don't understand is you are still republishing a story that somebody else wrote through their prism. You ain't never picked the phone up to double check even what you're talking about.
Fact check.
Well, I mean, even if you think about, like, you know, when we think of the way that people are labeled, it's either you're a terrorist, but only if you're of, like, you know, a certain ethnicity.
Right. You're Muslim.
If you're Muslim, you're definitely a
If you're
terrorist.
Muslim, you're a terrorist. If you're black, you're a thug. But if you're white, you're a lone wolf. Like,
Right.
So it's just,
Underprivileged,
he acted
misunderstood
alone.
teen.
yeah, you
Right.
acted alone. There is no more. It's definitely not terrorism, even
That's
though it is
why
terrorism.
people have to pay attention
Yeah.
to what is being said. It's just like, you know, I went after this black writer who wrote this piece condemning Birth of a Nation, saying, "Oh, it was a flop." And I went, "Really? How was it a flop?" I said, let's break down the movie. how much it cost, how much it sold for, and then what it made the first
Yeah,
weekend.
because the amount of money it sold
And
for
then,
was crazy.
first of all, it was sold for more than the movie was made. They made their money back before the movie even came out. So I said, let's deconstruct how many theaters was it in. I said, now, there's a difference between what the initial hype was, what people thought it could make, but then when they revised their estimates. I said, so I need you to define how you're calling it a flop. And it was interesting because there were some sites, entertainment sites, that said that it hit its expectation. Others called it a flop. I said, so how? And so people were mad at me saying, well, you calling the sister out. I said, no, I am challenging what she wrote because she is reading what somebody else wrote, and then that is simply her opinion dressed up in a blackface.
You sure you're not the pastor, and your wife is not the pastor? Because you sound like
No.
a pastor right now.
This is
Preaching.
but this is
Right,
the
preaching.
but this is the and the thing I tell people understand. This is what I do. I've been doing media since I was 14. Okay, I'm a student of media, and I tell you no. So I'm like, you need to understand what you're reading. Look, I can read a story. I can read a story and read the first 2 or 3 paragraphs and know exactly the prism through which they were writing. There are times when I remember I was at CNN. There was a story that Oprah. It was a very interesting story. So the story said that Matt Drudge had a piece. Insiders at Oprah's company are pushing Oprah to have Sarah Palin on the show. And it was this big old piece. Okay, there were no names attached, no sourcing. And so CNN people were, Roland, I want you to come on and talk about it. I read it. I said, that's a lie. They're like, what do you mean it's a lie? I said, oh, that's a lie. I said, like, well, how do you know it's a lie? I said, because Oprah gave an interview 6 months ago and said she would not have any candidates on her show, even though she endorsed Obama. I said, that story's a lie. And I literally, I read right through it.
Right.
And they were like, well, how do you know? I said, first of all, look at the words. When they say
Sources.
Not sources. See, sources is different from someone close to.
Someone close to, yeah.
Or someone familiar with. See, sources is more likely closer. Close to or familiar with ain't even in the building.
No.
And so as somebody, I'm on this side, I can tell you that's the BS story right there.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing. And so what happens is people just sort of read it and not understand what's behind that. And that's where I think people get in trouble when they don't think in those terms, to realize how we get played with media. And that's why for me, I'd rather go to the source. If I can't go to the source, I'm going to definitely go to somebody who's in the know. But I try to make the point that I'm going to pick that phone up to get the story as opposed to let somebody else frame it. Because the framing of the narrative is so important.
Yes.
And when that narrative gets locked, bro, it's hard. You have no idea how hard it is to change a narrative once the media, they've said it.
Once we believe it, we believe it, man. News 1, Roland Martin.
Glad to be here.
Tell them the time it comes on again in case anyone
7 a.m. every single day. DVR it.
Yes.
And if you can't DVR it, read your damn manual. I can't tell.
News 1 now,
Folks
baby.
like, oh my God, I can't. I'm like, y'all.
Read
I
the
said, go to your manual, hit record series. That way you ain't got to. I had one woman, she said, but I miss it today because I record it every day. I said, baby, you know you can hit record series. And then you ain't got to
Touch
Do
it
all
again.
that,
Ever.
yeah.
She said, are you serious? I said, yeah, you ain't got to do this every night.
Yes,
If
just
you ever
read the
learned
manual.
anything
She
from
was
Roland Manual,
freaking
read the
out.
manual.
Bro, I cannot tell you, people. and then people come to you like, can I get a selfie? Now I will snatch cameras. Let me be real clear,
Yeah.
because I'm not waiting all day.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, no, I'll take the camera out your hand. Give me the camera.
Because you're just ready. You know how to do your stuff.
Because this man, like, I'm mashing it, and it's not is not taken, and you stand there and you like, okay, I really got somewhere to go.
Right.
And
Just
then
give
now,
me the
I don't
phone.
want to
now
say
it's like 45 seconds, a
Right.
minute later. I don't
give
even
me-
do that.
just
I don't
give me
even.
the
No, I snatch phones. No,
I got you.
Oh no, I do. And there's no phone. There's no camera phone I haven't used.
Right.
So I know where the flash is.
Even if you got a code, you can swipe it up.
I can't stand the time. Oh, I can't tell none people. No. I need to get you the code. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Swipe right.
Yep.
And they're like,
Well,
oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could do that. I'm going because you ain't read your manual. And so
the quote of the day:
that's
read
right.
your
Read
manual.
your manual.
Hey, News One now, Roland Martin. Thank you so much. What's your social media so they can follow you?
Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, Roland S. Martin, and of course, Facebook page as well. So I got all of them
Yes.
there. And yeah, you might want to go there. I'm gonna be talking about somebody's $4.50 bottle.
Okay.
Oh, you threw it out for it?
You know
right.
what?
It was, no. That's cosmic cranberry.
Cranberry.
that ain't regular cranberry.
This is cosmic.
That's
cranberry.
cosmic cranberry. It came from the cosmos.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't hate
yes,
on
an
my
astronaut created that drink. That's why she's paying $4.50. Normally it would cost $1.99.
Thank you,
But
Roland Martin.
cosmic and the label is the additional $2.50.
I like it. Okay.
Hey, Roland Martin, thank you so much
I
for joining
appreciate
the
it.
fam, sir. Anytime, you're always welcome on the
thank
fam
you,
in the
thank you.
morning.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. For what? What you say?
Oh yeah, you blocked Roland.
No.
Hold up.
No, keep recording.
Keep recording. Keep recording. Hold on. Time out.
We
Keep
gonna-
recording.
we
Real
gonna-
quick, yeah,
Did you-
last
did-
thing.
did
Last
you-
thing.
did you-
Hold on. Our producer Sherm, he said before you finish the interview, Quicksilver and Danny Star, Roland Martin
Block me
one
on
day
Twitter.
blocked me on Twitter. So while he's here, asking why the
Okay.
hell did he block me on Twitter?
So
Can he
did you
unblock
use
him?
the N word?
I do not believe so.
Okay, but see, I block people for two reasons. If they use the N word or if they were cussing unnecessarily. And if you could say damn, hell, ass, but then F word, MF, stuff along those lines. But you probably use the N word.
I did not.
I'm trying to
So,
tell
hold on,
you.
So Sherm, what did you
And,
say?
and
to get
it's like,
blocked?
I
You
don't
remember?
accidentally block people.
Well, I feel like since the two of you do not remember what actually
He deserves a second chance.
what actually led to the blocking
So,
of
so
the
let me
Twitter.
explain how I do second chances.
I feel as though you should
Okay.
unblock
I thought we
him
were
now,
done,
Roland.
You know
Sherm.
how I do second chances. I will put you on a 2-week probationary period.
Yes. Okay, that works.
Yeah, but you probably use the N word.
You did something.
And
We
he
tell-
probably like first of all, so when did I block you?
This had to be like a year ago.
Yeah, you use the N word.
'Cause you was real on your blocking there, huh?
Oh no, I don't play that.
Yes, agreed. So
I mean, ain't no different. Like when Umar Johnson came on my show and called me a coon, I said, oh no, hell no. I said, ain't no racial epithets on this show.
nope,
I don't care who you are. Oh, he was hot. I'm like, I don't care.
I don't do that.
So you probably use the N word.
I did not. I don't use the N word.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Hold on. I've heard you use the N word before.
You
Sherm.
probably
Now you're
retweeted
lying.
somebody who used the N word.
I don't know.
All right, what's your handle?
Sherm Radio.
Sherm Radio. I'm trying to tell you. And about a year ago? Oh yeah. I
Look, you
guarantee.
said something out of pocket because every day, what do we say? Every single day,
Shut the hell up, Sherm.
I'm trying to tell you.
That's
Yeah.
our tagline.
That's
So
our
whenever he
tagline.
talks on the air, we say,
All
"Shut
right.
the hell up, Sherm."
All right, Sherm, you unblocked. But I'm telling you right now,
You got a
you know my rules.
60-day. No, but you got 1 week probationary period. 1 week.
I'm telling you.
Give him a week.
I
All right.
will block people.
We are fixing relationships here and everything on the fam.
You know
Hey,
it.
That's right.
Roland Martin, thank you so
Sherm now
much.
unblocked.
Yes,
For now.
Give me that funk. Give me that funk. Talk of the town. Good morning.